Welcome to All Change, the programme that puts design at the heart of the learning experience. Today we're at 4 Acres Primary School in Bristol, where we're going to be transforming a Year 2 classroom for a new member of staff, an ideal opportunity for a fresh start.
You can see there's things to roll on and things to read and things to do and places to play inside and out.
And this is very much the standard that you want 4 Acres Primary School to achieve, isn't it?
Absolutely, because this is part of the Every Child Matters debate again, is that the Children's Centre and the school will eventually all come under Children's Services. So what we want to do is to provide a seamless, high-quality learning environment from birth to 11. And as you can see, the primary school still needs a lot of work doing, but we're on our way.
Inexpensive polycarbonate sheeting, supported by the softwood framework, will provide the facing of the room dividers. The repositioned whiteboard is at the heart of the design.
John, you seem to have achieved a lot already. How's it going?
Done a great deal, in fact. I'm really chuffed. As you can see, these frames that are going in, these are the partitions to make this sort of small, perhaps reading area, sort of quiet area. These strips are going to be fixed. There's about 4 of these along here. Some of them are going to have a film on. It's like a green film or a blue film or something. Again, with that sort of earthy colours, bringing the outside back in. Behind me, we have a blue wall. And I've decided, it wasn't initially on the plan, but we're going to do a mural. The whiteboard has now moved from over there to the place where we said it would go. And the colours are all going on, so it's going rather well.
So you're going to be finished in no time then?
Well, not in no time. I mean, there's still a fair bit to do, but no, it's going well. It is going well.
Every new school has to reflect the area within which it's built, as well as serving its local community. Architects involved in the government's Building Schools for the Future programme have been working hard to incorporate their designs into the local landscape. RTKL Architects have designed a suburban secondary school which has a real relationship with its local spaces. Although one of the UK's biggest architectural practices, RTKL has almost no experience of building new schools. But they've deliberately harnessed their own naivety in their exemplar design for a new secondary school.
Understanding our lack of knowledge in the first place meant that we started with a sacrificial design. We went through a whole process of discussing what the stakeholder, what the end user would need from the school, and then using that knowledge and by carefully studying the process that we'd gone through, we were able to fish out what was the best part of that design and what were the things that weren't necessary, that perhaps were baggage from our other architectural experience. And also it allowed us to see the nuggets of good architectural design that came out of that process. And we did what we decided to call scenario testing, where each of our designs were investigated from the different viewpoints of different users. So a Year 7 starting on their first day, how would they react to the school, how would they use the school. Here we've got Bobby, he's got to go to the assembly hall for his first day, his inaugural meeting with the headmaster, headmistress. And then again, we had another example of a disgruntled Year 8 who comes in and actually bullies Bobby on his first day. And then how does the teacher deal with that? So we had this whole narrative that we used to test every one of our designs, and that totally informed the way actually we produced the final scheme. It was a way for us to check our design process all the way through. At any point, any decision that was made, it would always just get ran through the narrative, the story, to see if it still performed. So we included in our scheme an idea of creating enterprise units for small industry and small businesses that the school could then interact with. And this was based around what we've called the school street, which runs between these two items. We've got the industry on one side, the school on the other. In our classroom clusters that run around the edge of the building, we've got these clear story lights that will allow natural light to flow into all parts of those classroom clusters. Also, that'd be used for natural ventilation of the space. Now we've got a better shot of our enterprise units here, and then the school street that runs between the vocational subjects of the school and the enterprise unit. That will be a protected street. Down that school street, we've got places for bike storage, we've got turning circles for the coach drop-off, we've got different bits of soft landscaping. Here we move into the corridor on the ground floor. We're moving towards our defensible open space, which is coming up here, the courtyard. You'll see there's a very sort of thin boundary between internal space and the external space of the courtyard. And here we have on the left-hand side one of our breakout spaces in between the two classroom clusters, which will be used for a variety of different teaching methods. So here we are at the central stair, which is the core of the building, which we see as being a very important community hub of the building. And moving up, we're now in the mathematics and science part of the building. Materials-wise, we wanted to have a sort of luscious texture to it. The building had to interact well with the people that are going to touch it. Here you'll note that we've got glazing from this point up, which means that any teacher inside that classroom has a clear view into those corridor spaces. So there's a sort of passive surveillance that goes on in the community corridors. And then here we're moving on to the mezzanine level of the main hall. So you see that's quite a big space there. That will accept all the students and can be also used for drama, that sort of thing.
Back at 4 Acres, John Craig shows that he's not just a good carpenter. Far from it. He's been commissioned to do mural work all over the world.
John, you're a man of many talents. I had no idea.
Makes you change from MDF really, doesn't it? The little angels, bless them, have done all these little drawings. There's a house and there's a bug and there's a spider and a tree. We're going to stick those on, and I suppose it's going to be like a treat for them if they have their piece of artwork onto my piece of artwork. Then it's like a gold star for them, if you like. So we're halfway there at the moment.
Well, I'm jolly impressed. I might get you to come around my house and do one of those on my kitchen wall.
Sharon, you're so charming.
Caroline, as the Governor who chairs the Premises and Finance Committee at the school, what are your priorities for 4 Acres?
Priorities really are to create a vibrant learning environment which inspires children to value education and to bring the school up to date, because it's been neglected for quite a long time.
And does what we're doing in here fit in with those priorities?
It really does, yeah, because if you can show children, give them a quality learning environment to learn in, then hopefully they will see the value of education, because if they're learning in an environment that's run down and there's been no care taken over it, over the last few years, then what message is that giving to them about the value of education?
To complete the room dividers, blue plastic film was applied to the surface of the sheeting. John's nearly done now, and new teacher Shu Roy is working on some new displays.
Tell me what you think.
Brilliant.
Is it brilliant?
Yeah.
Is it what you thought?
Yeah.
Are your pictures going to look good on that?
Yeah.
I think your pictures are going to look brilliant on that.
Audiovisual equipment is becoming ever more sophisticated in schools. Here at 4 Acres, they've linked up a webcam with a performance space and a video and TV, so they can actually watch children as they perform and record as they learn. Here are some ideas for audiovisual equipment which may help in your schools. Good audiovisual gear can be a fantastic investment for learning. From the trusty old OHP machine to modern televisuals and electronic aids, audiovisual techniques have become an essential tool that all teachers need to harness at primary and secondary level. This translates written words into sounds, and this system allows all 30 members of the class to interact together at the same time. And interactive ICT devices are at the cutting edge of today's classroom learning. The British Educational Suppliers Association have a code of practice which their members comply with. You can find details of all these products on the Teachers TV website.
The Year 2 classroom at 4 Acres School is nearly finished. Snazzy signage goes onto the room dividers and funky new furniture comes in. Parents, governors and staff all work together to get the new room finished by the end of the weekend. The brief was to provide a new classroom teacher with a space less affected by traffic through the room at the ends of the day. Dividing the room into different zones with low-cost structures would give a more flexible learning environment. Colour would help bring the outside world into the room. The mural helped transform a dark corner.
John, are you pleased with the final results?
Very pleased. In fact, I've enjoyed myself doing this one. I think it's clean, I think it's fresh. I think the problem with these two doorways here and this walk-through, hopefully this will solve the problem with the screening there.
I think it looks much bigger actually, because the room's been properly zoned off for different activities. I think it's very, very clear what the purpose of it is now.
And the colouring helps, I think, you know, with the green and, of course, the blue, the sky for those grey days. And not forgetting, of course, it wasn't MDF this week for me, it was painting pictures. And actually, I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was good. It was, so hopefully, when they're in that little corner there behind me, a little time for daydreaming is not a bad thing.
So a bit of inspiration on the wall for them as well, then?
A bit of inspiration, yeah. And I love their artwork, even though, you know, everything's out of perspective. But it was just great seeing them get involved and putting that on there, and they worked sort of really well towards it. But generally, I think it's all worked. You know, just generally twisting this classroom around, keeping that thoroughfare clear, brightening up the whole room, and creating a space here with the screens. You know, at least you can see through them. I think the whole thing comes together and works well.
The overall budget for the room was a little over £1,000.
Wendy, Shu, the room's all finished. Are you pleased with it?
I think it's fantastic. It's bright, clear, fresh, new, yeah.
And Wendy, we've changed the focus of the room by putting the whiteboard behind us here.
Yes, and that's a much better space for it. It's much more secure, out of the thoroughfare, and the security that children need as one of the conditions for learning is now there for them, yeah.
And what we've tried to do is to define the circulation route, so actually you've got quite a space here now that people can see with the screens behind us particularly.
Yes, and that works well because the children come in, go past the screen, and then come back round inside the safety of the screen, ready to learn.
Yeah.
Exactly what we wanted.
And in terms of the smart space behind us, as we've called it.
Yes, for me, this allows for the different styles of learning that children have. They can come in here and work by themselves in little groups on an investigation or whatever.
Yeah. And I think it's quite nice to have a chill-out space when children are a little bit upset or need some space out. It's lovely to have that.
And what do you think of John's artwork in the corner?
That's
fantastic.
And do you think you'll be able to carry this through to the other areas of the school that we've been talking about?
I think we will. Already the governors are looking and talking about finding other people that we could set a challenge for particular areas of the school and using some of the principles that we've put into this room.
And we've had a lot of help from the whole school community this week.
Yes, I must thank everybody that's come in over the weekend. It's been fantastic. There's been parents, governors, friends of the school generally, and children, of course, who've really enjoyed it, plus the staff of the school, who always turn out on occasions like this. So, yes, thank you to everybody.
Well, we've had a great time. Thank you both very much.
Well, and thank you. Very much indeed. Thank you.
If you've been involved in an exciting design project or would like help transforming an area of your school, All Change would love to hear from you. You can contact us through the Teachers TV website.